Hello, my name is Benito Masi and I'm currently in my first year of studying business management with marketing at Leeds Beckett University. In this vlog I'm going to define marketing, then talk and explain theories that relate to consumer behaviour, marketing environments and the decision-making process that consumers go through when purchasing products. Firstly, marketing is the management process of where goods and services will go from the business to the consumer. There are four elements that go into the marketing strategy in order to determine how the marketing will take place. These are identifying a product, the place in which the product will be sold, and finally the promotional strategy. Now I'll be talking about buying behaviour and relating it to Apple, which is the business I'll be using as an example in my vlog. Buying behaviour is different when buying different products. For example, a consumer will spend more time considering purchases like a car or a house, which are known as extended problem solving, as these are purchases that require more time and research, as these are purchases that are made very rarely and are very expensive, as opposed to limited problem solving that relates to consumers buying laptops or phones, which still require research. However, these are bought more frequently and are far more cheaper. Another theory of planned behaviour is fear, as marketers use this to attract consumers to buy products, to influence them. For instance, with an iPhone, when Apple market their latest iPhone, they include all of its new features and tools, and when the consumer sees these ads and markets, they fear that their current iPhone will no longer be up to date with the current iPhone and do all the things that the new iPhone can do, and fear that they'll be left behind and their phone won't be able to do what everyone else's do, as all their friends and peers will buy the latest iPhone and there will be a fear of being left behind, hence why I upgraded my iPhone 5S to an iPhone 7. Also, reference groups have an influence on the way we behave and buy products. For example, with an iPhone, as all my friends had one, I wanted one. And this is because of the features it had, such as FaceTime and iMessage, whereas I couldn't have bought a phone like a HTC or a Samsung, which was far cheaper, as it wasn't able to run these exclusive iOS apps. So they limited me to just buying an iPhone in order to fit in with my friends and social group. Next, I'll be talking about the marketing environment and what goes inside it, and how it has an influence on consumers when purchasing products. In the marketing environment, there is what's known as a macro environment. This is made up of economic factors, social, cultural factors, and technological factors. In regards to the business I'm talking about today, Apple, the most logical one of these factors will be to talk about the social culture, as this is the one that personally influenced me into buying an iPhone. This is because everyone my age, inside my friendship group and outside it, literally everyone I knew had an iPhone at the time and still do. And because of this, I wanted to get an iPhone, as buying a phone such as a Samsung was buying something that wasn't in the group and no one had. Also, there are technological factors that link in with Apple, as iPhone constantly set the benchmark of what the phone should do in terms of latest features and apps, and they are constantly being innovative with their latest ideas, and more often than not being the first ones to do things. For example, this is for example, iPhone released the first ever iPhone, which was a never seen before product, as it was not only the first ever smartphone, but it was the first phone that was solely touchscreen with no buttons. Back then this was unheard of, but in today's world you couldn't imagine life without an iPhone. Well, I certainly couldn't, and this is just an example of how innovative Apple are, as they created the first ever iPhone, and they'll constantly send the benchmark up to the latest new products. Finally, I'll be talking about the decision-making process that I went through when I bought my iPhone, which I hope will give you an insight into buyer behaviour, as I'll be talking from my own experience. Firstly, I needed a new phone, simply because my old phone couldn't run the latest apps and the screen size, so I wanted a new phone. I was torn between Samsung and iPhone, which were evidently the two best phones in the market at the time, but I purchased an iPhone 7 simply because this is the phone many of my friends had, and they influenced my purchase decision. Also, in terms of a post-evaluation purchase, the iPhone 7 was great, as it's done everything I wanted to do, and it's been able to run all the apps I wanted to do, and I would 100% buy it again, as it has enabled me to use apps like FaceTime and iMessage, which I wouldn't have been able to do on Samsung's. So I would 100% buy an iPhone again. Thank you for listening.